topic with what a normal gut feels like. It's going to be, information that you maybe don't even talk to your family and friends about, but that's okay. Some people will be squirming, some people will be like, oh yeah, bring on more, let me share too. And, everybody in between. So I just hope that you find value from it. And if you have questions as we go through, please just put them in the comments and I will be watching that. And if you're listening to the replay, same thing. So let's go ahead and just dive right in. So we will start with the first thing that you maybe knew that I was going to talk about is the stool chart. So one way that you can know whether your gut is normal is where do you normally fall on the Bristol stool chart? If you don't know what that is, just do a quick Google search, and actually at the end I'm going to share with you our favorite tracking forms that you'll be able to use and track your gut health with. It's the same tracking forms that we're going to be using in our Heal Your Gut course. I wasn't going to just give them out for free, but I actually think it's going to be helpful. And even if you want to do the course, it'd be a really great thing for you to have ahead of time and get used to make it easier going through the course. And so on the Bristol stool chart, you'll see number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then there's some subtypes. So mostly a 3 to 4 is what you want to see if you have a healthy gut. So what does that mean? A 3, the description, you'll see this on the form, is crack looking with a sausage shape, easy to pass. Easy to pass is key. And the 4 is smooth with a sausage shape, easy to pass. In Chinese medicine, it said that the perfect poo is looks like a snake. So maybe that's an easier way for you to remember. Now, if you swing kind of different ways on that stool chart, but usually you're a 3 to 4, that's good. Things come up. Maybe you get a little bit of food sickness and maybe you have diarrhea for a bit. There are these, little acute things that can happen, but let's look at trends versus single instances. So we don't want to be seeing marbles or lumpy looking, difficult to pass, or like soft, separating, or like something you could drink with a straw, which I know, sorry, I put that image in your head. It's pretty gross, but at least you remember, right? So also stool, this is part of the subtypes on the Bristol stool chart, is that they should be sinking. And this is something I've noticed a lot of people don't know. If your stools are constantly floating, that's an issue of fat malabsorption. So we want to think about what might be the root cause of that fat malabsorption, and let's try to fix that and get those stools sinking. It could be random, where maybe you just have a very high fat intake someday. Maybe it's the state fair and you go like all out and floating stools per day. Okay, that's different than if you're consistently having it, eating the same things, but still having floating stools. If you don't have a gallbladder anymore and you're having floating stools, then that should be, talked about and something figured out to make sure you're absorbing those fats, because those fats are really, really important for our cell membrane lining and for a lot of other processes in the body. It's not true that we should avoid fat. We just need to be eating healthy fats and for creating our hormones and so much more. So the next thing is the bloating test. If you, as you go through the day, feel like you're getting more and more bloated, and by the end of the day you're looking pregnant, no matter the gender, that is a bit of a red flag. A little bit of bloating can be normal. So a test that you can do is when you wake up in the morning, measure around the smallest part of your waist, and then after you eat, measure again, and then at the end of the day, measure again. And if this is greater than an inch, that can be a red flag that there might be some sort of a dysbiosis or something else, that you're not breaking down foods properly and you're getting this bloating triggered. It can be a variety of different root causes, but that's one way to know whether your gut's healthy or whether there's something that we might want to look into. And I certainly don't want to scare anybody by going through these things. Again, remember trends, but that's one sign, and use all these different signs together for a bigger picture assessment of what your gut's like. And so greater than an inch difference. Next, gas. Yes, some gas is normal, but if you're having excessive gas, like more than 10 to 20 times a day, it's affecting your day-to-day life because you are having it when you're working out. It's highly odorous and bothersome and et cetera, et cetera. That is likely a different root cause than just like this normal gas that humans produce, because we have so much bacteria in our large intestine that's fermenting this food, and there is going to be some gas expelled. But again, if it's excessive, highly odorous, that is a different situation than what a normal gut would be. Next, you can look at stool color. And so your stool should be a brown color. Brown is normal. Now, if your stool is a red color, of course, that's concern for bleeding down in the lower part of the gut, maybe the rectum, or it could be food related. There's a lot of possibilities. Like, for example, you maybe saw our stool transit time video where if you eat beets, you can notice some red in your stool, and don't freak out if that's the case. Just think about, hey, did I have beets recently? If it's black, that could be a sign of some bleeding in the upper gut, or it could be just that you took an iron supplement, maybe Pepto-Bismol, that can cause some black stool, and possibly some other root causes. So it's not always like a major concern, but certainly if you're having black stool, make sure to touch base with your physician because it could be something serious. And then the last one is there's a lot of stool colors actually, and we're going to go through all of them in the Heal Your Gut course, but I just want to share a few with you today. The yellow one means possible excess fat or a small intestine infection. And so if you're having a lot of yellow stool, it's not brown, that is something to trigger, like, oh, maybe my gut's not healthy and what might be causing this. Next, I hinted at this, the colon transit time. So people living in rural African and Asian societies where they have almost no chronic disease, we found that they have a colon transit time. So that means the food moving from the start to the end of the colon, otherwise known as a large intestine, of 12 to 24 hours. So you can test yours. I'm going to link below our saved video in this group, that the YouTube video I created where you can check your colon transit time. And actually, I just remembered, I'm giving you out these free tracking forms. So on the free tracking forms, again, the link will be below the video. It has the instructions for how to check your colon transit time. And the last thing, two more things. Next one is the My Symptom Questionnaire, which is going to be on the tracking forms. And there's a category for gut health. So it's asking how often you experience these different symptoms in the past, when you fill it out the first time, the past week, and then the past month. And you can track kind of the changes to that. So it includes things like nausea and vomiting and acid reflux and these other symptoms that are related to gut health, but maybe we don't always think of because we just think of diarrhea, constipation, etc. Belching too. So these symptoms, if you're working with a functional nutrition provider, like with our clinic, we can take all this information and with all of our training, consolidate it and help to figure out what might be going on based upon the symptoms that you're having. So that's the cool thing about being able to use these tracking forms. And then overall, just think about, how you're feeling in day-to-day life. Is your gut causing you to not take on jobs or skip family events or lay on the couch all night when really you'd rather be at a yoga class, or, et cetera, et cetera. How much is your gut health impacting your day-to-day life? And if it's hardly ever, in a lot of what we went through, you came out being normal most of the time, that's wonderful, and that's what a normal gut would feel like. But if you're, not necessarily normal on some of the things we talked about, and you do notice that it's impacting your day-to-day life, it might be a good opportunity to look into what might be causing that before it gets any worse. And just a quick invite before you go, I want to introduce you to our why and our website. We are a virtual clinic helping people to find peace from their gut struggles. And if you are struggling, or if you know anybody struggling, I want to invite you to hop over to our website. If they or you are ready to start your journey, you can click here and sign up for a free 30-minute meet and greet call with us. And if you're not quite ready, we have other freebies over here, information about our Heal Your Gut course, a fun what type of gut do you have quiz, and links to our other social media channels. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk more soon.